Now everybody, let me tell you a story about Hollywood shame, where terrible actors and scripts collide. Oh, what a mess it is on the other side. Saw the lights, camera, action begin, but all I got was a movie that plunged in a spin. From the first scene to the credits that roll, a Hollywood disaster, you've taken its toll. Silver screen cesspool, bad movies galore. Can't help but wonder what the hell were they making these for? Throw in some cliches, the sharp, the predictable plot. It's a train wreck, I tell you, it's all they ever got.
And now for our feature presentation.
Welcome to the Silver Screen Cesspool, where we review the pool. And now your host, the surveyor of cinema, the mocker of moronic movies, the terror of tiny town, the last known survivor of battlefield Earth, the one of many, Alan Smith E.
Day of the Warrior from 1996 starts out on the wrong foot, as it opens up in a strip club with the opening credits interspersed between shots of a stripper in a ski mask. So that's a rather specific fetish. Those credits, if you know the name, and if you don't, the trailer lets you know very explicitly that will be treated to the acting skills of two penthouse pets, one Playboy centerfold, an American Gladiator, and WCW wrestler Marcus Buff Bagwell. This is not the selling point they think it is. So in the Day of the Warrior, there's a spy agency called L.E.T.H.A.L, which sounds badass. Lethal is an acronym for Legion to Ensure Total Harmony and Law, which doesn't sound badass. One agent receives a red alert and goes into the boss's office to pass it on to the director. The director, Willow, is in the middle of a meeting with a random suit. Also, the director is multitasking by working out on her Stairmaster in a leopard print thong. A perfectly normal thing to do in an office building when you're the director of a government spy agency. The red alert, unfortunately, has nothing to do with Romulans in the neutral zone, but the fact that the Warrior is onto their spy operations in his strip clubs and porn pirating operations thanks to a mole. Let's take a minute to talk about this movie's quote-unquote star, Buff Bagwell. At the time this movie was shot, he was in a tag team called the American Males, which, although they wouldn't say so directly, was supposed to be a tag team made up of Chippendale-like strippers. And boy, it shows in this movie, because in every damn scene, he looks every bit the oiled-up stripper. Now, this movie could have been helped out by the fact that Buff was about to become the Stuff and join a brand new faction you might have heard of called the NWO. It could have helped this movie out, but it didn't. Buff would go on to have the worst gimmick match of all time, a take on the pole match, but involving his mother, the Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. After the downfall of WCW, he would also have what many wrestling journalists would call the worst match ever upon his WWE debut. Post-wrestling career, he would appear on an episode of the reality series Gigolos, and that would become more than just an appearance. He actually had an entire second career as a gigolo. What does any of this have to do with the movie? Nothing, but it's some more interesting plot line. Bagwell plays the Warrior, not to be confused with the Ultimate Warrior, who was unhappy his name was being used in this movie. The character's backstory is the Warrior was a Olympic gold medalist and former CIA operative who, after the fall of the Soviet Union, found his services unneeded. So he becomes a pro wrestler with a Native American theme to honor his mother being like 1/64th Native American. When he retired from wrestling, he used all his spy contacts to develop his criminal empire. The character of the warrior is costumed, well, as you would expect a pro wrestler to costume themselves in 1996 when trying to pretend to be a stereotype Native American. So he's a Native American spy, stripper, wrestler, porn movie pirater, strip club owner. So that's awesome. Is there anything this man can't do? Oh yeah, act. Unless he's fighting someone, which only happens in his role as the head of his gang inside the wrestling ring. Outside of the wrestling ring, he seems to have the emotional range of a dill pickle. He glistens ever so slightly in the light, but not much more than that. So half of the good guys are trying to warn the other half of the good guys that their cover may have been blown. Suddenly we have three simultaneous plots going on. Tiger and Tyler are going to warn Doc Austin, who is embedded in the art smuggling operations in the middle of the woods. Shark and Scorpion are undercover porn stars, and Willow, the agency boss, and Fu, the offensive Asian stereotype, and Vegas Elvis impersonator spy will be rescuing them. There's Cobra, the stripper spy in the ski mask we saw already, who deals in diamond smuggling. She's on her own to save herself, except for that handy pager. Each one has several named baddies to deal with, and it's really hard to keep them all straight. There's a great deal of this movie that is spent moving from place to place, whether it be by car, boat, plane, rollerblading, or even by foot. No distance is too far to travel to exchange two lines of dialogue and then move on to the next location. At one point, someone drives a Jeep in a circle just to deliver a single line. It's like they wanted to show off all the cool, high-end luxury vehicles they could, and then realized they couldn't afford the Lamborghinis, but could afford mid-range sedans. And then they went ahead anyway. Luxury private jet? Nope! We're flying Delta. The warrior just sits around in his wrestling gear and face paint covered in baby oil inside the wrestling ring all day as he runs his criminal empire. And then the one time he ever so briefly sits down at his desk, he loses all personality. He sits at his desk, looking in the mirror, trying to remove some of his quote-unquote Native American face paint. On the right side of his face, it's already gone, but that doesn't stop him from trying to remove it anyway. Nope. 3 times. No. He attempts to remove the face paint on the left side of his face and misses completely as he's staring in the mirror. Then he tries to remove the non-existent face paint from the right side of his face again. And then he tries a 5th time to remove the makeup from the right side of his face. And then misses on the left again, just for some variety, before a 6th attempt to remove the non-existent face paint on the right side. Did he get baby oil in his eyes or something? What is happening here? What are you doing? One set of baddies are a bunch of Harvard business grads, who in addition to playing the stock market, are also hitmen who disguise themselves as surfer dudes, because no one in this movie can have just 2 or 3 jobs. Fu tells Willow they can find Shark and Scorpion by finding a white Audi station wagon with Louisiana plates parked in an industrial complex in Las Vegas, which is somehow oddly specific and completely unhelpful. The entire movie reads like a soft-core porn movie with all but 1 minute of 2 sex scenes edited out. And oddly, the sex scenes aren't the scenes where they're supposed to be shooting a porn movie starring Shark and Scorpion. This is likely for the best, though, as the bad guys slash boom mic operator and cameraman slash server dude slash Harvard Business School grads think that they're the ones who are supposed to be making all the moaning and other sex noises while filming porn. Also, apparently no one involved in this movie knows the difference between pirating a porn movie and making a porn movie. That's not to say that there isn't any nudity in this film, because there's plenty of it. Just most of it is women putting on clothes, which again is a rather specific fetish. Shark and Scorpion get shot by the baddies as they tried to steal the porn tape they just shot. But luckily, Fu and Willow show up to make the save. I'm confused why their secret mission was to retrieve a movie they had not yet shot. I think the mission would have been more successful if they just didn't shoot the porn. But whatever, dude. They all head to Dallas. So does the boss of our hapless heroes, flying in from Washington, D.C. Doc is saved, and he heads down to Dallas with Tiger and Tyler. Cobra responds to her recall page and heads there as well. At HQ, Doc accidentally walks in on Cobra, who is showering in a bikini and with her gun, as we all do. She pulls him in, fully clothed, and they start to get it on as his clothes magically disappear, and hers don't, because she started in the shower with clothes on. Don't ask, because I don't know. The bad guys are converging on Dallas, and it's revealed that low-level baddie's girlfriend, played by American Gladiator Zap, is secretly playing with Buff's stuff. Giggity. Good guys shoot at bad guys shoot at good guys. There's a bulldozer involved for some reason. After capturing Willow and Fu at 1 hour and 15 minutes into the movie, Buff Daddy finally gets around to working the title of the movie into his dialogue. This is it, Ron! The Day of the Warrior. Classic dialogue. Good guys shoot at bad guys again. Bad guys shoot at good guys again. Repeat until Zap decides to shoot her boyfriend to reveal her double cross, or maybe it's a triple cross. I've lost track at this point in time. But it reveals that she is secretly working for the Mole, who is the boss from Washington, D.C.'s assistant, who I had missed was even a separate and distinct character. He was in 1, maybe 2 scenes before this, and spoke maybe 2 lines of dialogue. Not a very shocking reveal. I was more shocked that I remembered that this guy was even in the movie than he was the bad guy. Good guys shoot at bad guys again. Bad guys shoot at good guys again. There's a weird moment where Mr. Tyler and Mr. Doc are both holding the same handgun, one hand centrally atop the other. It's not acknowledged in the movie, and I'm not sure why it happened. Where was this going? But the thrilling climax of the movie takes place inside the wrestling ring, where the warrior, Buff Bagwell, wrestles Willow and Fu. He captured them. They were helpless. He decided to wrestle them. He's been in his faux Native American wrestling gear and oiled up nearly the whole movie, so it's about time he engaged in some of that sports entertainment. Willow has seen professional wrestling before and wins the match. I guess it's a match, I don't know. She wins when she goes all Nancy Kerrigan and hits him in the knee with a foreign object. And with that, the sun sets on the Day of the Warrior, opening the door for the night of the gigolo and the dawn of the dill pickle. Day of the Warrior is available streaming on Tubi.
Silver Screen Cesspool is written, directed, and starring Alan Smithy. Assistant director, producer, and stunt coordinator, Alan Smithy. Boom mic operator, sound editing, and music by Alan Smithy. Construction coordinator, The Amazing Rando. Makeup by Crayola. Catering was provided by the Soylent Corporation. Alan Smithy will be back in Return of the Curse of the Planet of the Prehistoric Bikini Ninjas versus Kingdom of the Bride of the Killer, Shark Cheerleaders 2, Electric Boogaloo.